You're scrolling, drifting through the endless static of the algorithm, waiting for the signal to cut through the noise. Consider, if you will, that you just found the frequency. You've just stepped off the timeline of the everyday, into the space where the forgotten history and the hidden truths finally touch down. There's the story you know, and then there's the airspace we're about to enter. Check your coordinates, because you're heading towards the landing point. Welcome back, friends. Today's story, Art for Art's Sake. It was the 1930s, in the soot-stained, steel-pounding heart of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. A young boy named Andrew lay confined to his bed. He had been struck by a terrifying ailment, Sidham's chorea, a neurological disorder known back then as St. Vitus dance. It left his limbs trembling involuntarily, and his skin painfully blotchy. For months, he couldn't go to school. He couldn't go outside and play. He was trapped in his bedroom, completely isolated from the world. To pass the agonizing slow hours, his mother, a working-class immigrant, brought him small escapes. She brought him a radio, drawing pads, and copies of shiny movie and fashion magazines. Andrew would stare for hours at the flawless, airbrushed faces of the Hollywood stars. In the small, cramped bedroom, surrounded by the grim reality of the Great Depression, the sickly boy fell deeply in love with the pristine, manufactured illustrations of fame. Years later, Andrew packed up his portfolio and moved to New York City. But he didn't burst onto the scene as a rebellious visionary. He found work in the very industry he had idolized as a bedridden child: commercial advertising. Andrew was a quiet, deeply insecure young man, but he had an undeniable knack for illustration. Specifically, he drew shoes. Using a unique bottle-line technique, he created whimsical, elegant drawings of women's footwear for glamorous magazines and the I. Miller Shoe Company. He was remarkably successful, quickly becoming one of the highest-paid commercial illustrators in New York during the 1950s. But Andrew wanted more. He wanted to be a real artist. He wanted his works hanging in prestigious galleries. The problem? The fine art establishments rejected him. To the serious, brooding painters of the era, the abstract expressionists who were throwing raw emotion and paint onto massive canvases, Andrew was a sellout, a window dresser, a commercial hack who drew high heels and perfume bottles for corporate America. So Andrew made a decision that would change the trajectory of modern culture. If the fine art world despised commercialism, he wouldn't fight them. He would force them to look at it. He wouldn't paint emotional abstracts or beautiful landscapes. He would paint the very things ordinary people bought off of the shelves, the things massive produced in factories. He painted dollar bills. He painted Coca-Cola bottles. And perhaps most famously, he painted 32 canvases of Campbell's soup cans, one for each variety the company sold. The fine art world gasped. It was a joke. Was it an insult to the canvas? No. It was the realization of the bedridden boy's obsession, taking the everyday, mass-produced commercial world and elevating it to the untouchable status of the Hollywood stars. He dropped the A from the end of his family's name, Warhola, and that sickly child, the highly paid shoe illustrator from Pittsburgh, became the undisputable king of pop art, Andy Warhol. And whether you realize it or not, this is the landing point. Viewers, thank you for watching today, The Landing Point. We really appreciate it. I'd like to take a moment to thank our sponsor, Roadrunner Real Estate. They are a full-service real estate company doing both commercial and residential real estate. They can help you buy, sell, or even lease your properties. So if you're in the market looking for a real estate company, please go out and give them a call. They'll happily help you today. The next thing I'd like to talk about is our social media. Obviously, we have YouTube if you're watching that today. If you haven't done so already, please go out and subscribe. It is completely free to you. There's nothing that you'll be charged or your membership fees, but it does help us out so we can get our latest episodes to you quickly and you can find out what's going on with YouTube. Our other place that we do a lot of our social media is on our Facebook page, The Landing Point. So please go out and like and subscribe or follow those, I guess I would say, so you get the latest updates. If you're a person that likes to listen to stories as you're out on the drive, we have our podcast. You can find The Landing Point out there, and it can be on most services. So once again, thank you for watching The Landing Point, and we look forward to see you on our next story.